A woke principal in Victoria suggests that Adam from the Bible was trans. An Australian senator spends her time reading a special book to students at an Islamic college, and an illegal immigrant in Florida made a U-turn on a highway that killed 3 people. This video is going to radicalise you. Let's get into it. Before I start though, I just want to give a shout out to the amazing women at Women's Voices AU, specifically Jasmine Sussex. They hosted a wonderful event last Saturday at Parliament House, where a bunch of women took to the stairs at Parliament House and had their say on sex-based rights in Australia. And of course, the rabid Troon army was out and about, causing trouble and destruction as they always do. Here's a little snippet here of the masked hooligans picking fights with police like they always do. It is insane that in 2025, this kind of police presence is needed so women can speak. I did do a video on an event like this last year where you can see all the craziness here. And yeah, just fantastic work, women. Thank you so much for your courage and your bravery to continue to speak, even though we all know what you risk by doing so. So I literally came across this about 2 minutes before I started filming. I wasn't going to include it in this video, but a wonderful organisation called In Defence of Children shared on their Twitter page a certain principal in a Victorian school claiming that Adam from the Bible was trans. So let's have a listen.
Yeah, the first human was trans.
Yes.
Because when Adam was created, Adam was male and female. It was only in the book of creation, in the story of creation, that the ribs are taken and he creates. So the original human was it was but either neither or both. Anyway, we digress.
Once again, I'm offended on behalf of Christians. What a stretch. I mean, look, I'm not religious. I consider myself a little bit agnostic. I used to be very anti-religion, but after seeing, where the world's gone in the last 10 years, I think religion is very, very important. In saying that though, I do have my qualms with one specific religion, but we won't go into that just yet. So this is very, very unsurprising. We see a lot of trans activists try to do this. Just leave Christianity out of it, man. Leave the Bible out of it. Adam, I mean, I've never met the guy, but I don't think he was trans. Stop reaching. Stop reaching. But again, it's just an indictment of how ridiculously indoctrinated these educators are. Homeschool your kids. Homeschool your kids. That's my only advice when it comes to this stuff. I plan on homeschooling my little one when the time comes. Hopefully they won't crack down on it too much to the point where, you can't do it. But yeah, this is nuts. You should all go and follow In Defence of Children, by the way. They do wonderful work. This is their website here. Any concerned parents who have any questions about this, gender agenda, go to them. They're amazing. Okay, this next one, this cracks me up. The absolute state of Australian politicians. So Charlotte Walker, who I believe is 21 years old, she's our youngest ever elected representative. She won a Labor seat in South Australia. If you don't know who she is, you might have come across this beauty that she posted of her, a day in the life of doing real important work, I see. But a video that she posted on her own story shows her reading I want to say a stolen generation book, if that's a category, to a group of Islamic students. So let's have a look at that.
Asked all Australians to listen to us because we know our country. Because our country is sad and we need to find our nation's heart to make it better.
Whew. A lot to unpack there. Alright, so firstly, I don't necessarily have a problem with her reading a storybook to children, just at a surface level, don't really see an issue with that. However, the choice of book and the school most definitely have an issue with. I think Charlotte Walker is a perfect example of someone who's obviously been in the school system her entire life. She's gone to university and she is the perfect example of what, I guess, the system wants. And this is no shade to her. She could be a lovely girl. I'm sure she probably is. I've never met her. But judging by the last rant that she had in Parliament against Pauline Hanson and Net Zero, and then seeing this video of her, the dots are connecting. She's reading a book where she says that Australia is sad, and I'm guessing that's to do with, our history with the Aboriginal people. Now, yes, I don't think you'll find anyone that will say that Australia's had a squeaky clean history. but no country has. That is the point. And her reading this book specifically to a group of Islamic students at an Islamic college, what message does that send? The message that it sends is Australia is a shit country. You don't need to respect it. You don't need to be proud of it, because I clearly am not. Obviously I am, but Charlotte Walker is not. And I think, again, it's a bigger problem that we have within the school system. I like to talk a lot about, gender ideology in the school system, but this underlying message of Australia is shit, white people are shit, that's also a huge problem that we need to focus on. When you teach these kids over and over and over again that who they are is terrible, the country that they live in is terrible, it doesn't foster any identity. In fact, it does the opposite. And we see that now with young adults that are just coming out of university. They're all just good little activists, because that's what the system wants. And this last video, oh my goodness. I saw this a few days ago and I literally could not get it out of my brain for days. I'll just show it to you first. Okay, so this happened in Florida, and this fella who, let's just say he doesn't really look like a native Floridian, was driving a big 18-wheeler and decided to chuck a Yui, an illegal U-turn, on a highway, killing the 3 people that are in the van. Obviously, it's an absolute tragedy when anyone loses their life in a way like this, so respect to the family. I'm sure you're going through a tremendous loss, but oh my goodness. Can we focus for a second on how this driver acts before, during, and after the crash? Look at his face. He doesn't care. This man has just killed 3 people and he has a look of what can only be described as mild inconvenience. Even when he's in the truck, there's not a reaction. You would be inconsolable. And I understand shock too. I understand, maybe he's in shock. No. There was no reaction. There was nothing. This bloke didn't give a shit. And I see that this isn't an isolated problem to the US. I see these videos come out of Canada, and dare I say I see it on the roads here in Australia. There is a certain demographic of people that don't give a shit, or they can't read the road signs, don't speak the language, and they drive like this. And this is dangerous, and it is costing people lives. It gets me so riled up. And to top things off with this specific story, the bloke wasn't even meant to be in the country in the first place. He's an illegal immigrant, got a license in California because they're a sanctuary state and Gavin Newsom's. And yeah, he was able to do this. Controversial opinion, but maybe don't drive in a country where you don't understand the language and you don't understand the road signs. Or maybe we can have governments that implement those things. Anyway, that's it from me this week, guys. Take care.